Just before today's video starts, I would just like to remind all of you that it is not made for kids. It's for adults to enjoy too. So with that said, please enjoy the fucking video.
Yeah, I think so.
How's it going, everyone? This is Liam Fitzgerald back again, ready to bring you all a new YouTube review. I truly apologize for such a long absence from these reviews, but you will not believe how busy I've been lately. It's almost impossible to find free time. Granted, I was still able to give you guys other type of videos here and there, but I've been so busy with college lately that I haven't had time to focus on reviews. Or, as Tudder would put it,
Busy, busy, busy!
Nevertheless, today's video is a new review, so let's get into it. For today's review, I figured we'd take a look at an episode from Bob the Builder, Project Build It, because I want to try and give this era of the show more attention since we mostly look at episodes from the original series. I mean, the original series might be the top gem of Bob the Builder, but Project Build It has its fair share of great moments too. And today, I'd like to talk about an episode that I not only consider one of the greatest episodes of Project Build It, but it's also one of my top 20 favorite episodes of the entire Neil Morrissey era. So please sit back and enjoy today's review of the season 15 or 6th season of Project Build It episode, Lofty's Comet. Let's dive into this. Lofty's Comet is the 5th episode of season 15 or 6th season of Project Build It. Bob's dad Robert is stargazing at the stars and tells Dorothy that there's going to be a comet the following night. The next day, Bob and his dad tell the Can-Do crew that they're planning to build an observatory to watch the comet. During the construction of the observatory, Lofty begins to worry about not being able to see the comet due to how big he is, so he decides to climb the high mountains in hopes of getting a good view of the comet. As Lofty climbs the mountain, we get to hear him sing such a lovely song that it's impossible to hate! But we'll get into that eventually. Anyway, once at the top, Lofty sees that he's still not close enough and ends up getting stuck. But he is eventually found by Bob and Robert, who both tell Lofty that he doesn't have to worry about watching the comet and that his friends will make sure that he can see perfectly, to which they do. And the episode concludes with not only everyone watching the comet, but listening to Lofty sing his comet song. What a beautiful conclusion. Neil Morrissey has such a great singing voice. Lofty's Comet is one of the greatest episodes of the later saga of Project Build It. It is an absolute gem. I really want to talk about the biggest element I love about this episode, but I'm going to save it till last because it is quite a big discussion. So I'll start by talking about my first viewings of this episode because I have great memories with it growing up. I can vaguely remember seeing it on CBeebies as Bob used to air at 8 AM just before I went to school, but I mostly remember seeing it on the Adventures in Boblin Bay DVD. And my god, I came out of this episode teary-eyed. Episodes that centered around Lofty were always my favorite growing up, as he was, and still is, one of my top favorite characters. I truly didn't think they would do an episode where a character worries about their size being a problem. You'd think they would have chosen a character like Dizzy or Scrambler, but no, they chose Lofty. And you know something? They made a great choice choosing him. Lofty honestly would be the type of someone to worry about his size, and while his methods of solving the problem are quite poor, it leads to some great moments which I'll get into soon. As I was watching this episode for the first time, I didn't lose focus once. If this was an episode from, say, Ready Steady Build, my interest would have died instantly, but here, I was truly enjoying it, and when it got to the third act, my interest only got bigger and I couldn't stop smiling the entire time. And when it got to the ending, I kid you not, I started to get teary-eyed. And just by these clips I'm showing, I think you all know why. But yeah, my first viewing of Lofty's Comet was an unforgettable experience, and I still love it to bits. While certain episodes often include a subplot that often connect with the main story, this episode doesn't have a subplot. The entire episode is entirely focused on Lofty and no one else. And I'm quite glad it turned out this way, as you can tell Simon Nicholson truly wanted to keep the story simple to follow. While he didn't speak or do much, I liked Packer's inclusion in this episode. It was nice to see them give new characters more screen time and not just focus on the main six. And yes, Scrambler's the sixth member now, so I'm counting him. And of course, I can't talk about this episode without mentioning Robert and Dorothy. Ever since their debut in the Knights of Camelot and later returning as recurring characters for Project Build It, I always enjoy seeing these two appear. I liked the little moment at the start with them discussing the comet, then helping Bob build the observatory, and watching the comet at the end of the episode. Richard Briers and June Whitfield were perfect voices for these two great characters, and they both did an amazing job providing their voices for them. But unfortunately, this is not only the final ever episode where Bobsville is shown on screen, but it's also Robert and Dorothy's final appearance in Bob the Builder. Everyone, let's have a moment of silence for Robert and Dorothy. They will be missed. And now, it's time to talk about the biggest thing that truly makes this episode so entertaining to watch. And that is, of course, the star himself, Lofty. Get it? Because we're talking about an episode with stars, eh? Hey?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Ugh, everybody's a critic. Words cannot even begin to describe how much I love Lofty in this episode. First of all, he's 100% in character, excited about the comet, but worried about something going wrong. To which in this case, it's his size. Lofty being concerned about his size is something we've never seen before, and by God, it was the perfect aspect to use. Now we've seen Lofty get concerned about loads of things in the past, but never his own size. That is clever writing there. It made me think of the Mr. Men story about Mr. Tall.
I do so wish that my legs weren't quite so very, very, very long.
So Lofty worries about his size getting in the way of seeing the comet, and what does he do to resolve the problem? He climbs the high mountains to get a good view of the comet. Now, let's just think about this for a minute. Do you guys remember back in season 2 when Lofty was shown to be terrified of heights? Well, in this episode, he's bravely willing to climb the high mountains to resolve a problem. Ladies and gentlemen, Lofty has conquered his fear of heights. Despite making a poor decision to climb a mountain without Bob, this doesn't change the fact he bravely climbed the mountain without getting scared. This mobile crane is courageous, but hold on, it gets even better. Do you remember in Lofty the Star where he was terrified of singing in front of others? Well, Lofty has also conquered his fear of singing. I kid you not, Lofty sings in this episode not once, but twice. And my god, Neil Marcy gives this crane such a beautiful singing voice. Just take a listen.
Comet, comet in the sky, you are very, very high. You are shiny, you are bright, up there with the stars at night. Comet, comet in the sky, you are very, very high.
Lofty has officially grown up, folks, and he's shown once again why he's such an amazing character. Phew! That was a lot of energy. But yeah, folks, we've now come to the end of my review of Lofty's Comet. This episode was an amazing experience the first time I watched it, and is still today one of my top 20 favorite episodes of all time. Despite this being the final episode where Bob's parents appear, I think this was a great episode for them both to go out on. And of course, I can't conclude this review without giving Lofty a huge mention, because not only has he shown how far he's come from season 2, but he has now conquered 2 of his fears he had in previous stories. This crane is just so pure. Lofty's Comet rightfully deserves a full 10 out of 10. An absolute gem for Project Build It. I'm so glad I finally got to review this episode. You all have no idea how much I wanted to do so before, and I truly hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to like this video, comment down below your thoughts and if you agree with everything I said, and subscribe to my channel for more great videos to come. Now, it's unknown when my next review will be, but I'll try to keep you guys updated as soon as possible. So, until next time, I'm Neil Fitzgerald, and I will see you real soon.